Hello everybody, my name is Sinvicta and welcome back to another Diablo 4 video here on the Sinvicta Gaming channel. Thank you everyone who's been subscribing new to the channel here. I really do appreciate all of the support on the Diablo 4 content. As you can tell by the thumbnail and the title of this video, I wanted to go ahead and give you an update on how my Hammer of the Ancients / Call of the Ancients build is faring now that I've been in World Tier 4 and I've been running endgame dungeons and all that kind of good stuff. So going over the build really quickly, just in case if you didn't feel like looking at that first video, which is now outdated, I have indeed updated my Paragon board as well, and I'll walk you through that very quickly. You can check the timestamps down below. If the chapters are not working here, check out the links in the description or, of course, in the top pinned comment, and that will get you exactly where you want to go for gameplay and all that kind of good stuff. I am in Champions Demise. I'm going to talk about that video as well. But first off, if you're not already subscribed here on the Sinvicta Gaming channel, make sure you click that subscribe button. And, of course, if you want to see more Diablo 4 content like this and other builds in the future, please let me know by clicking the like button and leaving a comment down below. Now let's get to the build here. Again, not much has changed, although you might notice that this is a rank 9 Hammer of the Ancients. I'll talk about where that came from in just a moment, but we go in 1 point in Lunging Strike and then just go all the way over to Battle Lunging Strike. Nothing big there. This is just going to apply our bleed, which helps us out with hamstring as well as crowd control damage. And then over here on the core skills here, of course, we're running a Hoda Hammer of the Ancients. Max that out, go all the way up to Enhanced Hammer of the Ancients and then Furious Hammer of the Ancients. All this stuff is extremely important to go along with our Paragon board, which I'll talk about when we get to that section of the video. So down here, pressure point, again, your core skills up to 30% chance to make enemies vulnerable for 2 seconds. This is very, very important because we do like to stack a lot of vulnerability damage for this build, and it's the difference between critting for like 600,000 and 3 million. So just let that sink in for a little bit here. We also have Endless Fury as well. Basic skills generate 15% more fury when using two-handed weapons. Of course, we're only using our bludgeoning weapon here, and if you don't know how to select your arsenal selection, all you have to do is put the skill tab up and then simply click on the middle mouse button. Again, I don't know why it's so weird, but that is how it is by default. Make sure you're using your bludgeoning weapon for both of your Hammer of the Ancients, which is set to default, of course, as well as your Lunging Strike. Now, moving on over here to the defensive skills, we're still running War Cry and Rallying Cry and Challenging Shout. All three of the shouts, no big surprise there. Again, triple shouts are where it's at right now. If you're a Barbarian, you got to run the shouts. That's basically they're required for the end game. Challenging Shout, I don't really invest too much in here just because of the damage mitigation nerf. It is pretty bad, but you can still get a lot of survivability out of that plus Fortify. Rallying Cry, of course, is going to help us out with the resource generation as well as our movement speed and also allow us to break CC, which is extremely important because that's really where this build does have a lot of problems with, is when the enemies chain CC you. And then, of course, we have War Cry over here, which is just going to give us a lot more damage, and that's exactly what we need. It also helps buff your party. Still running Booming Voice as well as Max Raid Leader. This just helps with survivability as well as healing. And then over here on the weapon mastery skills here, still running Pit Fighter, maxing out No Mercy as well, and then getting that all-important hamstring skill. Make sure you get this first off because it is huge. This is the biggest thing that you can do, is apply those bleeding slow effects, which grant you the increased damage on crowd control enemies as well as bleeding enemies that you have on all of your gear. So then moving out here to the south tier, Thick Skin, just going to help us out with fortification. Fortification, very, very important. It helps out our damage mitigation, helps out our survivability as well as our damage, especially when we're talking about stacking any stat that allows us to deal more damage while fortified. And then coming over here to the ultimate, obviously we're using Call of the Ancients. Max that out. Over here on the right side, heavy-handed for our two-handed weapon crit strike damage as well as our bludgeoning weapon. Still running that. Still love having that stun chance here up to 45% on the max concussion. And then, of course, we're running Unbridled Rage. Now, if you skipped ahead past the skill tree here, since that has not changed, I have indeed fixed my Paragon board. I'm only level 71 right now, so that's the reason why you're not seeing a third board yet. I'm still kind of experimenting whether or not I want to add the third board or if I want to maximize the usage of my first two here to make sure I can get these glyphs online, because as you can see right now, I'm still missing a little bit of the points. I've not gone and maxed out my renown yet on any of the zones. I'm getting there, but those are very important. I'm kind of casually making my way through there. I don't want to burn myself out by just running around grabbing all the statues of Lilith. But the first board that we do indeed hook up with is going to be Warbringer. This is very important because this allows you to gain that fortification pretty much immediately as soon as you land your first Hammer of the Ancients. So it's very, very good. Also, another couple of key passives here. We want to have the plus maximum fury nodes here on the magic node along going to the core reserve. This is very important for Hammer of the Ancients builds because the more fury fury that you expend, the more damage that you do, and it's exponential. I'm also grabbing a couple of life nodes here. Nothing big deal. No big deal here. I do like picking up the fire resilience as well as the guarded advance. Both of these you can actually pretty much get online at the same time. You just have to allocate some willpower. Same thing goes for the hungering fury. Again, allocate the willpower where you can. I haven't really been experimenting whether or not it's worth going for that third one, third Paragon board or not. Again, I'm still kind of working with it. And then over here, I'm running the exploit glyph. And as you see here, it only takes 25 dexterity to put online. You just need the Paragon points, and that's where the renown comes from. And you work all your way over here to raw power just to give you 10% physical damage and 10 strength as well. And then of course the dex requirements are pretty easy to get if you've been stacking them on the board. So let's talk about the gameplay really quickly here. If you skipped over the Paragon as well as the skill tree, I want to talk a little bit about running Champion's Demise really quickly, because I had a lot of questions on that video. People were wondering how come I don't run the third tier down here. There's actually 3 waves. There's 3 wings on this map, excuse me. There's one over here, one down here, and one down here. And people were asking me how come I don't run the third one. Honestly, I think that this dungeon, it's still very, very good. It hasn't been nerfed yet at the time of this recording, but one thing that I don't like about the third wing is that it's so far out of the way that it's actually pretty ridiculous to go backtrack that far, and pretty inefficient in my mind as well. It's a lot easier just to do the first 2 wings on the northwest side and then go down to the southwest side, and then that's it, and then just get out, reset. And I wanted to show some gameplay as well, just to show you sort of the damage numbers that you're seeing. Again, you're going to see me critting for a whole lot. I'll talk about my gear as well. Actually, let me go ahead and do that really quickly before we really get started in this dungeon run here. So I'm going to mouse over my skills and my imprints really quickly. I am running fortified. I do have the Rage of Haragoth unique chest piece. As you can see, it is ancestral, so I did get that in an upgrade from a nightmare dungeon on Torment. I also have the Sovereign Vampraise of the Expectant. Again, this just helps us out by stacking up that core damage skill. This is only the basic imprint. You can actually get this very, very boosted if you have a lucky drop from, like, say, an ancestral or even a sacred unique, or a sacred legendary that you can imprint as well. I'm still running Temerity as well. This is one that I got a while ago, and it's still only the sacred version of this. I do like the fact that this one gives you so much HP as a barrier. Whenever you do get healed, you can basically spam, if you're about to take a lot of damage, you can spam your potion and overheal and give yourself that barrier. But I would say that this was the least needed on my gear. Over here is just my boots. It allows you to get a stun on a bleeding target. Obviously, everything's going to be stunned. Here's my massive 2-handed mace. This thing is still rocking and rolling, everyone. And again, imprinted with an 88% damage on the Quake for the Hammer of the Ancients. And then our 2 slashing weapons here. Again, I'm just stacking a bunch of crit damage, a bunch of vulnerable damage. As you can see here, there's the imprints if you want to take a look at them. And then this is my slashing weapon. I love having the distance stun chance that you can get whenever they hit you. And you deal 40% increased damage to stun enemies. It's very, very huge. And then over here for my amulet and rings here, again, this one just giving you a barrier just allows you to have a little bit more survivability when you're taking a bunch of shots. I do have the Bold Chieftain's ring. I did get this to drop a couple of days ago, and I took the imprint from a different ring and put it on this one. I like this ring that I currently have because it has not only the crit strike damage, but also the crit strike chance. But as you can see here, it's not really all that great, and I've already re-rolled the crit strike chance. I got a little unlucky with that, but even though this has been nerfed, it's still, the shout cooldown is still pretty much worth it in my opinion. It still makes it very good for this build. And then finally we have the intercom ring, which allows you to just get more damage as you're standing still. So that is the gear. Now we can talk about the gameplay as well as the damage that you can see. Are you kidding me? Why is the butcher still here again, man? I swear to you, these are not planned. I don't edit these. These are recorded live. I don't know why the butcher keeps showing up. He actually beat me in Torment, and I'm actually kind of worried that I'm going to die here, as that would really suck. But this is also kind of hilarious because he just keeps showing up in my dang videos, and I don't know why. So, yeah, I guess we're fighting the butcher. So anyway, after this butcher fight's done, after I stop being rooted and stunned, the build is still working out very well. I'm hitting very hard. I'm able to go through damage resistance mobs. I'm able to take down bosses. I'm the highest that I've gone through in terms of tiers as far as the nightmare dungeons are concerned. I've gotten past tier 24. That is the highest that I've been able to clear. It was dangerous, but I was able to get through it. It does get a little bit sketch. I'm not gonna lie. Got to be careful of the hook here from Butcher. If you're wondering why I'm not, wow, that hook, I don't know where he's going, but I'm glad that he didn't follow through. But if you're wondering why I'm not trying to fight him right now, it's because I'm trying to pull him into a pack so I can start getting all that AoE damage out. Wow, that headbutt is ridiculous. Definitely don't want to get feared here. And we just picked up some ancestral gloves too, so this part of the video is a little bit unhinged. I was just, I was like, hey, I'm gonna go make myself a good build video and it'd be great, and then freaking Butcher shows up again. I cannot believe this, dude. It's actually like ridiculous that he's shown up 3 videos in a row. Man, let's hope that I actually beat him here. I'm a little bit worried about our HP and our potion situation here. Trying to rattle off these big chunking crits here. And basically, sometimes you do have to find yourself doing this, especially if you're fighting the Butcher. And you're trying to get the shouts back online. We might get him here, although he is healing quite a lot. And he's very difficult to stun, too. In fact, I don't think I've ever stunned him. I was able to stun the Elite, though. Get the Coda out of here. There we go. That is ridiculous that we fought him again. Let's take a look at those gloves really quickly here. Gore's Devastating Grips, 3 ranks of Whirlwind. That's actually pretty good. Non-physical damage. And 4 Whirlwind attacks me total base around his fire damage. Yo, that's pretty. Oh, that's the unique that actually got it got nerfed, but people are still using it though. So for the plus Whirlwind. Anyway, talking about Champion's Demise really quick now that the Butcher's done. Yeah, the reason why I don't run this bottom one down here is, again, because I feel like it's inefficient, and I'm not going to run the full dungeon here because I don't want this video to be too long, but I want to show you something that was brought up in my comment section, which is actually a fantastic tip here, and this is something that I would have never even thought about either. So in the last video in the farming video where I said, hey, you need to farm this dungeon before it gets nerfed, there is a reason to pick up the stone carvings, and I'll show you that reason in a moment after I'm done getting away from these freezing mobs here. And that is, if you pick up the quest item, this goes for any item in any dungeon on any difficulty, you will get an automatic 25% movement speed buff. That is something that I think is fantastic for this farming spot, especially since it's gone unnerfed right here. And the stone carving that I'm talking about, by the way, is this one. So watch my buffs down here. As soon as you pick it up, bam, you get a 25% movement speed, and you will not drop this. Things hitting you won't make you drop it. The only thing that does make you drop it is dying. So obviously dying is not exactly going to be ideal, but that's just a nice little tip there. See if we can get this shrine. Oh yeah, we actually got it. It's not a curse shrine for once. So anyway, you're seeing the big massive hit. So that was a 1.5 million hit there. Whenever we do have vulnerability, it's nice, especially if you're teaming up with like a necromancer or something like that. The build still slaps. It still absolutely wrecks things. I love having huge bursts of damage and big AoE hammer slams down to the ground. So that is just the update here. I will do another build update, everyone, whenever I get further down the line and get into level 100 stuff. But again, I wanted to give all of you an updated build and an update on the build itself so you can check it out for yourself. A lot of people say they've been running this build, they've been really enjoying it, and that is awesome as well. By the way, I also have changed the expertise. I'm now running the two-handed sword expertise just because I want to make sure that we apply those bleeding buffs, or bleeding debuffs, I should say, faster than usual, than we usually can just by lunging striking. So that is going to do it, everyone. Again, let me know in the comments down below if you've been running this build. Do you have any nice variations? Have you been enjoying the Diablo 4 content here on the Sinvicta Gaming channel? And as always, thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing, everyone. Stay tuned for more Diablo 4 content here on the channel.